Welcome back to the Wake Man channel. Alright, so today's video is going to be another addition to my DIY series. If you haven't checked out my DIY series, I'll put a link right above me so you can go check out the other videos I have in that series. Today's video is going to cover a little fix / hack for those of you out there that have a Malibu G4 tower. What's happened on my G4 tower, which I would expect anybody who's had a G4 tower for a given period of time would encounter the same thing, is that when I try to put the latches in to lock them, whether I have the tower up or down, it sticks. And for some reason I'm not able to get it in all the time, and I can wiggle it around and get it in. Sometimes I struggle for a while to get it in to lock. So I finally decided to take the plate off on the tower and get in there and try to figure out what's going on. I did identify the problem, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So this is a view with the plate off, and you can see that I am trying to push the latch in. There's a little button you pull in, and then it should just push all the way in. And you just saw it go in, and you can see me able to get it there sometimes, but it's sticking a lot. I believe that's probably a common problem on these G4 towers. I did some investigation, and you can see that there's a little cutout behind this pin that's in this joint right here. And what happens is the pin slips out a little bit and it goes inside that little cavity behind it, and it's catching on the edge of that cutout when you're trying to push it in. All right, so now that I knew about this, I actually took a screwdriver and a hammer, and I just hit that pin until it came out the other side. I think that's the purpose for that cutout, is so that you could replace that pin if you needed to. So here's the pin. You can see it's just like it's basically a sheet of metal that's just been rolled. So what I decided to try to do is, I have a set of taps, which is just basically so you can pound a nail head in without damaging the wood around it for molding and things like that. And it's tapered, so I figured I could just pound it all the way through the pin, through the hollow part of the pin, and what it would do is, as it gets up to the thicker part of the tap, it's going to spread that end out. So that way when I put the pin back in, one side is wider than the other, so it doesn't allow it to push all the way through. You can see it got stuck on my tap, so I just had to use a couple pairs of pliers to pull them apart. And now you can see that there's a little piece of metal sticking up, which tells me that I did get it spread apart some. So now I'm going to put the pin back in. I just used a hammer and just hit right on the pin to get it back in. You got to align the joint there, make sure the holes are aligned. It did take a little bit of maneuvering. I didn't get it first try, so I had to work on that a little bit, but I finally got it in. And then you just want to make sure that the latch is working properly, which it is. And then what I'm going to do is put some Loctite. So this is just some Loctite I had sitting around. I have various different bottles of Loctite I've used at different times. And I'm just going to put some Loctite on each one of these bolts that holds the plate in. So that way those don't rattle loose. I've had several bolts on all of my boats rattle loose and have had to tighten them over time. And what I'll do is I'll put some Loctite on those and then retighten them. And then you usually don't have that problem again, at least not for a while. So then I'm going to just go ahead and replace all these bolts. And just making sure after I put the plate on, it's working good and it's nice and smooth. All right, so now I'll just need to repeat the process for the other side, which I've already done, and now both latches are working great. So hopefully that was helpful. I know that there's got to be some other people out there with the G4 tower that are experiencing or have experienced the same issue. It's not too hard of a fix as long as you have a couple of tools around that will work the way I used them. So that's it for this video. I hope it helped you out. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please leave comments below on some other ideas for DIYs or hacks that you think I might be able to do, or just any thoughts you might have on this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click that notifications bell so you can be notified of my future videos. I'll see you next week.